what I wanted to say about the arts was that I got a rebuttal when I left a comment on YouTube about why I think that student loan debt should not be the only debt that can't be declared. You can't declare bankruptcy on. You can declare bankruptcy on any other debt, but not student loan debt. And so I got a rebuttal from someone who basically said that the arts, that he believes that he, she, it, whatever, I think it was a he, said that he believed that bankruptcy options should be available to people with student loan debt, but he doesn't believe that the arts should be funded. Okay, so my belief is the arts do need to be funded. I feel that the arts are practical and serve a very big purpose in our society. And I feel that one of the purposes that the arts serve in our society is that the artists tend to be people who think outside the box. Artists are creative and use their imagination more than most other people. And so that means we have a tendency to question the status quo, to be anti-authority, to, like I said, think outside the box, and to create new ways of doing things, new ideas. And I feel that is vital in a democratic society. In order to have a democratic society, you need to have artists. You need to have people who are creative, using their imagination, thinking outside the box.
Not just democratic society, but just a society. You need art. I'm actually taking this anthropology of folklore class, and we're studying folklore. And folklore is tradition, everything that congregates to be a tradition of a certain people, and that includes art to stories about everyday life and things they produced and did. So for people to be conversing with each other and to actually get along and to be able to, live amongst each other in harmony, there has to be the arts.
Yeah, good point, because people need a place to ventilate their feelings, right? And I mean, you can write a song about your pain. You can paint a painting about your pain, or sculpt your pain, or there's so many artistic modalities or mediums out there.
Yeah, because everyone has to get rid of the illusion like that they're gonna get rich. Not everyone's gonna get rich in life, so you gotta be able to find some enjoyment of life. So if you end up on like the shorter end of the economics, or like if you're just middle class or whatever, you should be able to have like some enjoyment of life, and that's what the arts gives. Plus, it gives people that weren't raised in a more cultured family to be able to have like certain knowledge that would help them for certain jobs.
Yeah, I think the arts pretty much they do provide joy and enjoyment in life, and also healing, and there is something called art therapy, which is used there are a lot of different types of art therapy. There's music therapy too, used to reach people, and sometimes people with disabilities or mental illnesses, things like that, cannot be reached in a normal or quote unquote normal human way. They may not be able to speak or to hear other people when they speak, but they can hear the music and feel the music, and they can beat out what they feel, beat on the drums or play a guitar, strum some songs, or paint how they feel.
Or if they're like a vocalist or whatever, they can literally say how they feel, without negative repercussions.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, it's a way
Or
to express.
without getting arrested for threatening.
Yes, if you live in the Rust Belt and you support Jill Stein, you can write a song about it, and in that way.
Oh, interesting thing. Did you know what's that one Green Day song that they play at all the graduations? The happiest days of our lives. Well, that's kind of funny because that's played at like a graduation where everything's supposed to be happy and everything. When that's just a breakup song. That's indirectly telling his ex to go f yourself. Like, I'm done.
That's funny. That is played at graduations.
But but the song is interpreted in a way that's like, oh, we're having this sweet ending of something so special, when the whole song is saying that I thought this was something special, but you really just wasted my time. Get out of my life.
Oh, nice.
So I guess that's the message they're trying to send at graduations.
Ah. Yeah, it's amazing what you can hide in a song, or like that song "Stressed Out," where he mentions student loans instead of student loans and if I had a choice between student loans and treehouse homes, I'd choose the latter. I'd rather live in a treehouse than have student loan debt. And he mentions that in the song "Stressed Out." So
You have a problem with tree houses?
what? They fall out of trees. That's
No,
a
no,
tree
you have
house.
a problem? No, you have a problem with tree houses?
Do I?
Yeah.
No, I think they're fine. I
I
mean,
say, how dare you? Tree houses are awesome.
I'd rather have a treehouse home than student loan too. We need beauty and we need joy and we need pretty things. I mean, imagine no paintings, no pictures, no movies, no TV shows, no videos, no music, no. I mean, how can you live in a world with no art? And should only wealthy people be allowed to pursue the arts? So,
No.
I mean, poor people and middle class people can't pursue the arts? Really? Then we'll have no Leonardo da Vinci's. We'll have no great artists anymore. You
Well, they
know?
don't want us to pursue the arts because our nation drives on extreme capitalism, and people are like, how dare you not try to like capitalize on every endeavor you have in your life? How dare you, uh, you know, resonate people's souls and help them through difficult times? We must oppress them so they'll pay for stuff that they don't need to impress people that they don't like.
Yeah, besides they have pills for depressed people. So if you're depressed, if you're unhappy, just take a pill.
Yeah,
You don't
because
really do anything
they'll
to.
make money off that,
Yeah.
and that's good. Money's good.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Right. Money good. Nice photograph.
Mhm.
Nice pictures on the money too. Like there's a beautiful picture of Abraham Lincoln on the penny.
Oh
Um,
yeah,
yeah.
shiny penny.
He ended slavery, so now he's only worth a penny. That's what happens.
Hey, sometimes he's worth $5.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. Sometimes he is worth a little more. Lewis Hyde wrote a book called The Gift. The Gift is all about how artists and creative people give because creative people will create regardless of whether they make money off it. So if you write poetry, chances are you're going to keep writing poetry even if no one gives you money for it, even if it never gets published, just because you feel it in your soul and you want to express the poetry. If you like to play music, you're going to play music regardless of whether anyone is paying you to be a musician. It's just what you love to do, right? And that's not pro-capitalist. That's why the starving artist stereotype exists, because artists have a real hard time earning a living in our highly capitalist society because artists are always giving, and a true capitalist doesn't give anything away.
Take.
Yeah, they just take. So like if you're an accountant, you don't say, well, I'll do your taxes for you for free. No, I'll charge you this, I'll charge you that. You don't do people's taxes because you enjoy it. It makes you feel good. you know and
Yeah,
because you're
those
helping.
type of people, like when they go out on the weekends and they go like to say like a bar or a pub to see a live band, most of the time like they'll like get there an hour or half an hour beforehand, so they don't even have to pay the cover charge. So the band is making less money.
Yeah, people just take the arts for granted. They don't want to give money to the musician, but they wouldn't think of having somebody fill their taxes out for them for free, or going to see a doctor for free. Although I do think healthcare should be free, but my point is just people don't think, well, the doctor shouldn't get paid, or the nurse shouldn't get paid, or the accountant shouldn't get paid, but they think that musicians should just not get paid. Like people are totally okay with that. Like, why should I pay you? All you're doing is playing a musical instrument, as if it doesn't take any skill to play a musical instrument.
Yeah, and it actually like takes more skill than most things that people capitalize on to make a buck.
Yeah, and some of the street art that you see, sometimes it's pretty
Yeah,
good too. And these are people not making any money off of
yeah,
their art. And art, I think, really makes people think. I think good art can make people really think about things, and really be very influential over people. Really change people's minds about things. And I think because art is so influential, I think there are people who want to stop it. You know, because people have a tendency to not realize they're being influenced when they're being entertained. They just think, what a beautiful painting, or what a cool TV show. I like this show, or I like listening to this music, or whatever. But they don't stop and think about how they're
yeah.
being influenced by it.
Yeah,
You know?
because like they don't stop because they're subconsciously being influenced, where they're just seeing these actions and all these behaviors repeating over and over. So they're being conditioned. So when they see stuff that happens similar in real life, they just think nothing of it. They just think, oh, just another day.
Yeah, exactly. So by censoring artists, by making it expensive to be an artist and not paying artists and defunding the arts and saying that, people should have to pay to go to art school and pay to go to college if they study the arts, by doing that, you're limiting what who can be artists and who can influence the masses. Stop and think about that because, like a TV show like The Walking Dead, been some talk about that, about how The Walking Dead is a violent TV show, and those violent television programs really are getting people to accept violence. They're conditioning people to be desensitized to violence. So it's influencing people. So when you limit who can be on television, who can be an actor, who can be a director, producer, writer, who can create the music, who can create the art, what you're doing is you're limiting who can be influential. And the people who create programs, TV programs like Walking Dead, are influencing our society in a huge way.
Yeah, they themselves are influenced by money because they're in the usually in the 1% class.
Yeah.
Like
Right. And that's what happens when you defund art. That's what happens when you make it so that only wealthy people can be artists, which I think is what our society pretty much is doing.
And when the sole purpose of art turns to profit, then art loses what art is.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Loses the very essence of art.
Yeah, I mean, art comes from your heart and your soul and your passion. It's not supposed to come from, I wonder what my market base is. I wonder who would buy this. I wonder what people would buy. Like, I'll write a
Yeah,
song about something that other people will appreciate, so they'll buy my song. I mean, no, that's.
yeah. I mean, like us musicians, we don't really care if we like get rich. Like, if we could get like a normal like salary wage, for our music, then that would be fine, right?
Yeah. Most of us are like, hey, I mean, to earn a living as a musician is pretty amazing. And
Yeah, we don't have to be like millionaires, like Black Sabbath and the Rolling Stones, but we can still be doing good. Okay.
yeah, I mean, that's how most of artists are. We're not materialistic. And that's what Lewis Hyde talks about in his book, The Gift. It's all about how artists tend to not care as much about money. We care more about our art. And that's all we care about, you know. And that's why the establishment, the very hyper capitalist, what I call capitalism gone wild establishment here in the United States doesn't really like artists very much because, we artists are not easy to control. We don't like authority, and we don't care as much about money. We can't be easily bought, or blackmailed because we just want to create our art. The establishment just doesn't like that. They like the business people, The business want people who just, can be easily paid off. And so you see a lot of
Yeah, they like all the uptight people.
the uptight people, the tightwads. Yeah. My defense of the arts is I really think it's necessary. And you raised a really good point once when you talked about the humanities. You said they want to take the humanity out of the humanities.
Yeah, because if you can't study the humanities, you're not. If you don't know about the humanities, you don't know about yourself. So if you don't know what's human, then are you even human anymore? How do you know? Defunding the humanities is unhuman. The act of it is censoring, like making it hard for the arts and artists to make a living. That's just how it is.
The humanities really, that term really speaks to the fact that arts are what make us human. Our ability to write a poem or paint a painting. You don't see animals doing that sort of thing typically, or thinking on the. It really, the arts involve a higher level of thinking, higher level of.
So, in other terms, if we get rid of the arts, how are we different from all the other species on this
Do
planet?
you want change in the United States? Do you want the arts to continue? Do you want creativity in our society? Do you want Donald Trump to run things? Or do you want people who are thinking and reasoning and using their imagination and living in the Rust Belt? Do you? What is it that you want, people?
Do you want change? Real change? Do you?